Y'all, I am convinced that looking good on paper is one thing, but reality is a totally different thing, because most of these couples look amazing on paper, but I am very scared that they are not that compatible. Let's go. Hey, y'all, it's your girl Jane B, and welcome to seejanereacts, where I am reacting to Married at First Sight, season 20 in Seattle, episode 4. So listen, y'all. Help me to get my goals. Help me to reach my goals. I'm trying to reach 2,000 subscribers, and I know y'all can do it. Just go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell, hit the comments, hit the likes, hit all the things to make sure we stay in touch and we can go on this journey together. Definitely check out my description and see all the things I have going on there. I have my hair care products, I have my Patreon, I have some other things going on that you can see right in the description. So y'all, let's go ahead and get ready with this episode. So now we are at the next morning after they've spent their first night together. And we're just gonna see now how every couple is getting along after, their first night. So Michelle and Cameron, Michelle said, my man looked handsome and she's definitely attracted to him. Okay. Adam and Marissa, now I'm gonna tell y'all something. I had doubts. I had many doubts about Adam and Marissa, but child, it seemed like they done tricked us all, because they seem like they are the ones getting along the best. So they wake up, because remember, Adam sleep with no clothes on. So that let me know already what could have happened. They are very attracted to each other. There was hugs and kisses and smooches in the morning. So we already know that they are off to a good start. Sean and Nikki, so there are smiles all around, but she said he needs to back up. And throughout this whole time, I'm just feeling like there is a drought in the land. And I mean a drought on Sean's part, because he is acting so thirsty. Mind you, Nikki said he got a dad bod with no kids, and she's not attracted. But you could tell that she's invested in the process. And she said, you know what? I'm not thinking that he is the hottest thing on the planet, but I am willing to, dive in and take a chance. And Sean, if he could just read the room, I'm going to say that a lot because he does not read the room. You are a professor of education, not a professor. You are a doctor of education, and you can't read the room. That's saying a lot. So she's kind of like, just chill. Nikki and Courtney, you could already see that Courtney is, the one handling things. Oh, I could open that, boom. Or I could do that. Are you handy? No, I'm not handy. Oh, Lord. Matchmakers, you're gonna have to do a better job. So you could already tell that there's gonna be a situation with them, because they're giving you the idea through the music and the editing that this is not really working out. Tori and Felipe, that's another couple that surprised me, because when he said he goes out every night and he be partying and doing his thing, I'm like, Lord, what will it be? But then when I really think about it, his personality is of such that he is going to have a good time and he's going to make the most of things. So I'm not really surprised that they're getting along the way they're getting along. But anyway, they wake up in the morning. They are touchy. They're another couple. I'm telling you, I have hopes for them. Let's cross our fingers. Let's cross our fingers. But they get along. They have the smooches in the morning. He said, at one point he had a fear of commitment, but he's not really sure anymore about that, because he's really digging Tori. Is that a red flag? So Mecca and Belgely, I've nicknamed them already Becca, because I was calling them that and I didn't even mean to call them that. And then I was like, it makes sense. And then he called them that. I was like, oh, that's it, Becca. Becca, they wake up. They say, they're just talking. He said he is kicking it. He feels like he's kicking it with his best friend. So that's like good, because, you do definitely want to feel comfortable, but then you don't want to be friend zone either. So let's see how that works out. And she's just determined to have matching outfits. We gonna match. He is determined. And how they had so many outfits that coincided together was just amazing, because they had a few outfits that they were matching. So Devin and Caitlin surprised me, because from their wedding, I thought, oh, they're gonna be good. They were having a good time, lots of hugs, lots of kisses. Come to find out, they woke up in the morning. So Devin and Caitlin, they wake up, they're feeling very comfy. Devin said that Caitlin said she was not going to go out like that on the first night, and that she is more of a slow burn. and she's not as touchy. Now, I'm just going to say this about them. I had a little bit of high hopes for them, but now I'm starting to feel like, wait, what's going on? Because I feel a distance. And, you know, these distances can come from so many different things. They can come from your past relationships, what you're used to, what you're not used to. But I'm going to get to that in a minute. And now they are in Mexico for their honeymoon. They are in Riviera Maya. So now they're on their way. So they show Michelle and Cameron. And so they were just doing a small talk. And Michelle said, I like it when the guy plans. And he said, okay, noted. Okay. So Sean and Nikki, they arrived at the honeymoon location. He's being a lot more gentle. And he asked for another kiss. And she says yes. Now, can I just tell y'all, if you have to constantly ask for a kiss, that's a red flag to me. Because don't get me wrong, I definitely understand at the honeymoon, at the wedding, when you like, can I give you a kiss? Is it okay? Because you don't know each other. But after a while, because it does not take all day to recognize if there's a connection, a physical connection. And of course, you're not going to do the most. You're not going to be out here tongue kissing and all of that after 1 or 2 days if you're not that comfortable. But when it comes to things like pecks, you can kind of feel it because that's energy. You know what I mean? Like there's a sexual energy. There's like a drawing togetherness. And if you have to constantly ask for a kiss, that means either you're not sure or you know she's not sure. But what was cute is by the time they got into the rooms, they looked like they were having fun. They were jumping on the beds. I was like, oh, that's fun. They're acting like 2 kids. So Courtney and Nick, you know what? I think they're really, right now, they're definitely trying to create tension with them, right? And the way they're presenting it is that Nick is weak and Courtney's strong. But we're going to find out a little bit later that Courtney's the type, she likes to do everything. You know what I mean? She's one of those people that can't sit still, and that says a lot. You know, a lot of these couples, I really think before matchmaking, they need therapy because a lot of their old issues and their past issues are definitely creeping up because if you just can't sit and chill, that says a lot about you. And then we got to go unpack that. Why? Because see, Nick gonna take naps. Nick is napping and she's up cleaning and she's doing this and she's doing that. Even though they have hotel maids, she's still doing all the things. And it's kind of like, now where does that come from? Why is it that you just can't like sit back and just chill? Tori and Felipe, I'm gonna tell you why this couple is growing on me, because even though they're very enamored with each other, even though they think each other is hot, each other is the bee's knees and all the things, they were having real conversation. And I really appreciated that. He admitted to her that, yes, I have cheated once in a relationship. He said he ended up kissing somebody, but he didn't remember. He blocked it out. And then it came up years later. So the young lady, whoever he was dating, didn't even know it happened. And then she was talking about how she was very close to her guy, her ex-boyfriend, and come to find out he cheated with someone very young. I think the girl was 24. And so what happened was she ended up finding out about the girl. She took the girl out to dinner. He said, okay, we're going to have a conversation. See, that's very mature, first of all. Because she realized it's not the girl's fault, okay? She realized it's her man. And next thing you know, she broke up with her man. So, they had that conversation, and I really appreciated that. Then they went on and he asked about faith. And she said, yes, me and God are best friends. She said, they tight. They like this. And he said, well, I'm an atheist. And so, it was kind of like the, ooh, like really? But somehow they were able to work through the conversation. Like he basically said, like, if that's your belief, I'm not going to stop you from having that belief. But I'm surprised they didn't ask that in the matchmaking. You know what I mean? Because that would be because to some people that is very serious to say you are an atheist and I am a hardcore Christian. He said he did grow up Catholic and most of his family is into religion, but he's not. So we're going to see how they're going to navigate that. Felipe also said he doesn't want to mess it up. So he will do whatever he needs to do. But Tori was very understanding. So Adam and Marissa are, chatting on the beach. They seem to be getting along just fine. And remember at the beginning, we were like, oh Lord, he don't drink. He don't try to judge her for drinking. He this, he that. What happened was some drinks were brought out to them at the beach. And what happened was they took the drinks. And Adam said, can you just test this to see if there's any alcohol? She drank it. She said, no, there's no alcohol. I think it was an iced coffee. And I said, you see how that's compromise to me. Because from what we see now, he's not judging her. He's not judging her. He's not like, why are you drinking? He said, I'm not drinking. So if you can test this for me, we'll be all right. So you see how it's amazing how they can lead you, like the way that the production is, they can lead you to what they want you to think. Because at the beginning, I was like, oh, he gonna be a problem. He this, that. No, wait, the show ain't over yet. But right now, I was like, oh, he's gonna be a problem. He's this, he's that, he's that, he's that. And now he's just like, can you just test this to see? Because they're having a good time. They're having a great time. So Michelle and Cameron are talking about their future. They're getting a little bit more vulnerable. She's telling him about her fibroid situation. I don't know if she said she saved her eggs, but she started talking about children. And he asked her, like, what's your timeline for that? And remember, he ain't been in no relationship. Cameron has never been in a real relationship. So I mean, to go from like no relationship where basketball is his life, his love, to now be talking about frozen eggs, babies in a year, and responsibilities. He's like, what is going on? He does say he wants to have kids, so he was understanding, and he did say that his sister was adopted. I kind of figured she was adopted. She was of Asian descent. So he said his sister was adopted, and so he is open for that as well. So Becca, because that's my new name from Mecca and Beljalee, they are vibing, but I think it's a lot of overthinking. Something's not being spoken. There's some communication that's not being had, because if you're constantly overthinking, and don't get me wrong, because you could just naturally be an overthinker, because I would think if the person that you're with really is wanting to be there, it would be some level of communication that I want to be here. You know what I mean? Just to ease your mind. And the fact that I'm feeling like Beljalee is doing a lot of asking, it sounds like it's a lot of overthinking, and it's more on her part than on his part. So we have to see what that's about. So Nikki and Sean, like I said before, she said, he said he likes her body, and she was just like, oh, I don't think she's really attracted to him. He got the dad bod again. And, it's one thing to have a dad bod and be maybe a little taller, but to have a dad bod and be short, so now everything's looking compact. Those are just my thoughts. So I'm thinking that maybe she's like, I'm really going to try to make this work. I think the worst thing that could happen is when you are trying to make something work, when you are like almost forcing yourself to like someone or to really be into it. It just seems like, such a struggle. Now that seems like a struggle to me. She said when she first saw him at the wedding, she's like, oh, he's confident. And I said, that sounds like shade to me, because confident and handsome is two different things. It's just to say, those are those, the buzzwords you use to say what the real thing is. Oh, I thought you were very confident. Sean said he wants to be different because in the past, he put himself first and put everyone else second. But as you're going to see, he kind of still does like put himself first. I mean, because you can just tell by his style, like the way he communicates, he's not looking at them or her. He's definitely looking at him first. That may be an issue. While they were talking, he was asking her questions, she was answering the questions, and then at some point it turned into an interview, because even I was like, why is he talking like that? Like, it went from like, oh, so yeah, when I was with someone it didn't work out and da-da-da-da. And then he's now questioning, but more like in an interview style. And she told him, she said, I was comfortable. I was getting comfortable with you, and you just flipped the switch. Like, it's almost kind of like, this is going too good. I'm going to have to do something just to insert myself and mess it up. Because it seemed like that's what Sean was doing. Like it's almost like he doesn't know how just to go with the flow. But I feel like with the two of them, there's definitely an ego situation at hand. Because instead of looking at each other as fully realized people, and I'm going to put this more on Sean than I'll put this on Nikki, but as opposed to looking at each other as fully realized people, I'm thinking, Sean is looking at this as a project. And for someone who's been in school for a long time, and that's kind of like his probably orientation to work, to figure things out, to get his degrees and everything, it seems like he's approaching his relationship the same way. But listen, when you're with another full human, you can't do that. You could do that with your paperwork, because your paperwork is not human, okay? But when you're talking about getting along and learning and growing and finding out what makes each other tick, you have to step back a little bit more and look at them like, wait a minute, let me figure them out as an individual, not as what I want, but what they are, who they are and what they want. Adam and Marissa just having a good time, ordering room service. The bed is covered with food. I said, that looks like so much fun. That looks like so much fun. That bed is covered with food. They're like, okay, we're going to try a little bit of everything and then try each other, because that's the vibe they on. Belgially walking around, she giving body, yaddy, yaddy, bodies tea. She walking around enticing Mecca. And she's like, here's my little bikini. And Mecca's like, hey, I see you. Okay. So back to Belgially and Becca. So they're on a boat ride, still dressed alike. They were still looking cute. And y'all like her hair? Y'all like her wig? She gonna wear that wig. She gonna have that glue. She gonna do that lace front, okay? But I guess also too, because her hair looks like it's kind of fine, and probably with the wind and the humidity and all the things that's going on in Mexico, she's like, I'm not trying to have no hair issues, so let me just bring my wig. So she had her, her glue down, okay? Her wet and wavy. And they on a boat now, they're just having a good time. They're doing their talking. She's still doing some overthinking. And again, I'm just really getting the feeling that, is he just not telling her what she needs to hear? Because why is this so much? Because my thing is, like, if you are reassuring me and you're letting me know this is what I want you, and everything's great, blah, 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 then I'm not going to keep asking you questions unless I have an issue. But I just get the feeling that he's not really giving her what she needs. And then with the advice of his father, Logic, talking about hitting it and clapping cheeks, and like, that's not real fatherly wisdom advice. So if he's going into this situation with her with the thoughts of his dad, the thoughts of all the other things that he has issues with in his life, maybe that's why he's not giving her what she needs, in terms of hearing what she needs to hear or feeling what she needs to feel. Courtney and Nick, honey, Courtney said, I am bored. Okay. She said the quiet thing out loud. She said, I'm bored. She's just like, I just want to push him into the water, What's so crazy with those two? So you already got him that been on 5, 6, 7 reality shows, okay? So I'm already sure that he's probably like, how is she looking at me? Is she judging me because I've been on all these shows? And then she's coming in with her little insecurities and just overdoing things and doing too much. And then she's like, oh, I just want to be laughing and joking. Now, listen, when it comes to the whole like goofy and laughing and joking, that has to be who a person is. You know what I mean? Like, that's their natural personality, to be that way. Not everybody's like that. So I don't know if the whole laughy, jokey thing is just something that's making you feel comfortable, or you feel like that's how you know it's a real relationship. Because from what I don't get Courtney as this laughy, jokey person either. I get from her that this is what I want, but I don't get so much like she's so laughy and jokey. I don't really get that from her. And it just seems like their communication, they're going to have to do a little better, because she's over it. He's clueless. He don't know what's going on. He over here taking naps, and she's like, I'm about to throw him into this water. Okay. Devin and Caitlin went to a cenote. Have you ever been to a cenote? I went to one when I was in Mexico. They are so fun. They are so fun because it's like this natural, like, underwater pool. They went into a cenote, and it just looked like so much fun. After they got out the cenote, the lunch is there, the fruit, it just looks so refreshing. He was talking about the fact that, he's emotional. He likes to touch. And Devin needs to be with Belgially, because Belgially, if Belgially and Devin was together, they would be off to the races, okay? Because he's giving Caitlin all the things. He's telling her all the things. He's saying how, he likes to be emotional. He likes to court. He likes to touch. And she doesn't like that. She is very independent, and she needs her own space. Now, I got a question for you, Miss Caitlin Girl. Why are you at this show? Why are you trying to get married at first sight? Were you recruited? Because I don't know that you really actually wanted to be married. Did you want to be on TV? Did you want more followers? What's going on? Because to me, how are you trying to get married, but you want your own space all the time? You know what I'm saying? You like your own space. And then again, they look great on paper, but in practicality, no. Because to me, the more important questions when you are getting matched up are the things, not just the things on paper that look good, but the unsaid things. What are your love languages? Make sure you're matching people with similar love languages. Make sure you're matching people with, same moral compasses. You know what I'm saying? People that want togetherness. You know what I'm saying? I will die on the hill of, in order for a relationship to really work, the two people must share love languages. If you have opposite love languages, it's not going to work. Devin is over here talking about quality time, physical touch, wanting to date. She's talking about, nope, I'm going to get up and go to the gym because I need my space. Now, another thing is happening here. Communication is terrible. Why couldn't you just tell him that? Because Devin seems like a reasonable guy to me. And she could just easily say, listen, I just need a minute. Can I just go to the gym and then maybe we can meet up in an hour? I'm sure he would have been like, fine. But for you to get up, now y'all said the night before, they showed you say the night before, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, this is what we're going to do. And you get up and you just let him sleep and you go off on your own. That's not nice. Devin, that is not nice. Not Devin, Caitlin. That is not nice. And I can see where his frustration would be, because even if your love languages are different, or you maybe more of an introvert, or you're afraid and blah, 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 blah. I think sometimes a good old conversation can cure a lot of that. But unfortunately, in order to be a good conversationalist, it takes some maturity. And unfortunately, a lot of these people are just not at that maturity level. And that's what makes a good show. Devin is also concerned that he's not getting what he needs. And I'm going to tell you something. Devin is all right with me. He is easy on the eyes. Devin is easy on the eyes. He's giving you body, yada, yada. He's giving you tall, big teddy bear. Girl, if it's not you, baby, it's going to be somebody else. So either get it together or you tell them, I don't want to be on the show no more. Because you're not giving this man what he needs. And he's making it clear what he needs. So figure it out. Nikki and Sean are in a power play. They are pushing and pulling, tugging and shrugging. They are going back and forth. They are already having an argument. Now, the argument to me is still that power play. You know what I mean? It's that where they are in their lives. Now, I'm going to be fair. I think they're both willing to work, but in different ways. I think Nikki, even though she's not feeling him, she's still willing to work. I think Sean is still in that, about me, I put me first, I want to be right. And that is where their problems start. That's where their problems start and stop. Because they're both looking at it from an analytical, this is the way I am, this is the way you are, and we're going at it, and nobody's willing to compromise. Nobody's willing to compromise. I think she's willing to compromise more, but everything has to be explained like in a very analytical way in order for him to understand. First of all, how do you still not read the room? I don't understand that. She said, I could see having sex at the end of this process. Girl, that means you're trying to conjure up if you're going to really like him. And this is the thing. Women, let's be honest. Women, can we be honest? Y'all drop down in the comments and tell me if y'all agree with what I'm about to say. We know almost immediately when we meet a guy if he going to get it. We know almost immediately when we meet a guy if he going to get it. Because it's just that attraction. You already know. You're like, whoo, I'm in trouble. You know this right from the start. So when you're talking about at the end of the process, you're going to try to work it up. So you're like, if we could get along, but then on the other hand, I do understand where she's coming from too. I do, because she's like, she don't really like him like that. So she's like, well, let me see if I could conjure up some feelings. And then on the other hand, he's like, what, 5 months? But then let me tell you something. I know men that really like women that really wanted to be with them, and they were willing to wait. So the fact that you're not willing to wait, that means you're just in it for low-key selfish reasons too. That's what I get from them. Because it's just too much back and forth so soon, 6 days in, and y'all already having fights. This is supposed to be the still fronting stage. This is the stage where we playing like we perfect, and we know we not. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna follow this closely and see how this one turns out. Tori and Felipe, they just vibing, and then they put on my boy Bruno's song. Okay, I just might make it my lady. I just might make it my lady. So y'all, now the couples are meeting up. This is the first time they are meeting up after they've been married. So all the guys have met, all the girls have met, and now they get to see each other's spouses. And Adam already said, now Adam judging already. Adam said, okay, let's see who look like they're gonna make it, because there were some people I was a little doubtful for. But meanwhile, Adam, you don't know, we was doubtful about you, okay? Now, as they're getting ready to meet up, Devin is trying to help Marissa with her hair. He was like, you need help? And she over there braiding it up. You know, she trying to make good. And she's like, no, I'm good. He said, do you want this? No, I'm good. And she's just like, just let me suffer. He's not getting it. So, Devin, I'm gonna need you to pull back a little bit too. Even though we know you are a golden retriever, we know you are there to help, you want to court her, but you may have to ease her in, because some people just like you, especially if they're a little withdrawn, they like you to almost pull back a little too, because when you'll pull back, they'll pull forward, okay? So, or they'll push forward. That's what'll happen. And that's because it's like that cat and mouse until you really get locked in. But right now at the beginning stages, Devin, you know, play hard to get. Listen, you fine. Devin fine, okay? So just act like you ain't really caring like that. What? And watch her come on forward. Okay. Devin also says he is so tempted to talk to her about the whole gym situation, how she got up and, you know, went to the gym and then tell him. He said, but no, I'm trying not to overdo this thing. I'm just going to chill. So he's just going to let it go for now. So y'all, everybody got together. Everybody's meeting and greeting. Everybody's, you know, looking each other over, seeing, oh, that's what they spouse look like. Oh, okay, that's what they spouse look like. So, you know, it's just everybody coming together. The guys are like, what's up? The girls are giving hugs and kisses. So now they're ready to compare and contrast, because you know what that's about. Everybody want to know what's going on in your relationship. Now, meanwhile, we already know Courtney over there conversation started with Nick, right? So now, because Felipe owned restaurants and bars, and he did say he owned a restaurant, so now we know he owns a restaurant. He said he also owns a speakeasy. So of course, because he's that guy, he's very easy to talk to. So he's talking to conversation star of Courtney. And Courtney's like, now see, that's what I like, because he's nice and goofy. So she said, see, this is what I'm missing. And listen, when you are starved, anything look good. A crumb of a piece of bread looks good. So that's what she was like, yeah, I see, this is what I like. See, I like Felipe. That's the kind of conversations I like. Child, and Felipe had the nerve to turn around and said, no, I don't see no confidence. I ain't got no confidence in Courtney and Nick. Meanwhile, Felipe said his sister knew Nick from the reality show. See, that would not help me. If you keep saying that, and it's just going to remind me that you've been on all the reality shows, and that's going to remind me even more, is he really here for the right reasons? Because, you know, listen, if he's on the show and he's not really putting forth no effort and he's falling asleep, he already knows how these shows work. He knows what to say, what not to say, because he, you know, he knows what this is. So now Belgially get down to business. She said, all right, guys, let's talk about intimacy. So Michelle said, well, listen, I'll go first. She said, I'm very boring. We're still in the beginning stages. We haven't done anything. I'm sure they kissed and they look like they cuddled a little bit, but that was pretty much that. Tori said they cuddle every night. They kiss every night because, you know, they already got that connection. Right now, they one of my faves. Tori and Felipe are one of my faves. She said they cuddle and, you know, hey. Marissa, her hot ass said, we gonna skip. Marissa said, we're going to skip me. So you know what that means. We've been getting down for the get down. That's what that means. Okay? She said, go on past. Go to the next person. We ain't going to talk about me just yet. Okay? So now here go Felipe. Who has sex yet? Anybody has sex? Adam said, I don't kiss and tell. Basically, that means yes, you have. Anytime somebody do no comment, all of that, you are already giving us the answer. Cameron says no, nothing's going on his end, no sex on his part. So after, you know, the guys were talking about sex, Devin felt a lot better. He said, well, good. I'm not the only one, with the exception of Adam. Everybody else is in my same position, so now he don't feel bad. I guess he would have felt bad if he would have been like, everybody's screwing except for me, but nobody's screwing. So he felt better about that. So then back over to Becca, because you know Becca was the kiss here on the cheek. She said at some point they was doing whatever, then they fell off the couch and then they made out and it was a 10. Okay? Becca, Becca, we'll call her Becca. Becca, they are cute because Mecca's really attractive. I'm just scared with that father, Lord. I can't get that. I can't get logic out of my head because I know he crazy and I know he gonna creep back in there some kind of way. Mecca's cute. So she said he has nice lips. She said it was a 10 out of 10. Okay. The only thing she said was, after kissing, she's starting to feel something. The girls was like, you feeling something? She said, yeah, but she don't know if he's on the same page. And that's the only thing that kind of gives her a little pause. But if you were just in this for a good time and you just want to be rolling around and kikiing, then you kind of halfway don't care. But you are married, you're in like a real situation. You want to know, do this person like me? Because we've never met before, so I don't know how they're feeling yet. So I guess after she done gave herself in and they started making out, she's like, where does he feel? Where do I fit in? How does he feel about me? So here comes Felipe with more questions. Felipe was like, so who here has had friction? So then Devin talks about how hyper independent Caitlyn is, how he wants to court her. He wants to put his work in and, and get her going. And Devin and Felipe was like, listen, you don't want to burn down the house. You don't want to go so fast you burn down the house. So just kind of just chill, kind of just fall back. And then Caitlyn, back over to Caitlyn. Caitlyn was like, nothing's happening because it's inorganic. Unless the couples are that undeniably connected, you have to really wrap your head around what you did. Even though you signed up, you did the paperwork, you went through all the steps, but then you still got to really wrap your head around, I do not know this person at all. So it doesn't feel real. And then if you already got your isms and schisms, and then if they already got things that they're doing that you don't like, you really gonna fall back. So that's where Caitlyn's at. And then back over to Devin. Devin is just, overanalyzing everything and rightfully so, because listen, Devin is cute. Let's just be real clear on that. And I know in his real life, rugby, running with that ball, looking good, them thighs showing, that six-pack popping, girls are probably after him all the time. You can't tell me that they're not. So he's just overthinking, like, I don't understand. Because, when you put people in these situations where they normally are the preference and all of a sudden they're not the preference, it makes them like, oh, man, so now he's overthinking everything. But then Caitlyn was like, but he is kind. He is kind. And then sometimes, let's be fair, ladies, sometimes if we're used to not being treated well, that we tend to push people back. That feeling of someone like really loving you, taking care of you can really scare you. And that's why you push back. But then when you actually stop and think about it, you're like, but he's a nice person. And then if you really get, real with yourself, you're like, why am I pushing back? Especially if I think he's attractive and especially if I'm starting to like him, why am I pushing back? But sometimes it takes a while, to get to that point. Now, Sean was upset because Nikki is going to, when the diaries come in, like, when they have like the in the moment, interview. And she said, we decided we ain't having sex until after this is over. And he was like, oh, we decided. And then she started going there, my body, my choice. I get to make the choice. I want to make it. And that sounds real defensive. And she sounded defensive because she don't want to really be with him. Let's keep it real. So that's why she sounded ultra defensive. She was just like, after the process. And you know what that usually means. Child, it probably won't happen. Because then by that time, they have to decide if they want to be together. So Sean was left feeling very confused. So now Nikki's telling the girls, child, we was in a full-on argument. She was just like, look here. She was like, look here. I need to be treated like a flower, a delicate flower. Then she had to come back and say, but he do have me meditating. He got me meditating in the morning because he really has a strong spiritual center and he does bring her coffee. It does seem like he caters to her. But she just can't get over, you are 5'6" with a dad bod. See, she can't get over that. That's and then she's not really feeling him like that. You know what I'm saying? So, but she said the coffee was nice and I am, num yo yang yoing. She is doing that. So we'll see. Sean also said, listen, I want to be your soft place. I'll just tell you something. Even though Sean is a shorty too wop bop bop, he has a beautiful smile and beautiful eyes. He really does. He's a handsome man. He is. Okay. Child, Courtney gonna turn around and say she is not into Nick because she feeling quarantine vibes. Because during the quarantine, after a while, the husbands and the wives was either fighting or divorcing. They was like, I can't take you because normally you working and I don't really see you, but I'm seeing you all the time. I can't deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So she said she was getting quarantine vibes from Nick. Nick, not knowing this, says that Adam and Marissa, they seem like physically they are the front runners because they're all over each other. But he said he and Courtney are in a good place. It's amazing how you can have two different people saying two different things, because she's ready to jump out the window and he said we're in a good place. So a conversation definitely needs to be had. And pretty much that's where we end up. And it's funny because there was one scene like right at the end where you see Tori at the table, and then you got Cameron talking to her, you got Nick talking to her. I was like, okay, and it could have just been coincidence, but it just seemed like everybody was talking to Tori. Because you listen, Tori's a beautiful lady, and Tori has a very chill vibe. She does. She doesn't seem really uptight. She seems like she's a little more go with the flow. And so everybody, you gravitate towards like good energy. So I guess that's what it was. So y'all, that was the end of the episode. So it was a good episode. We're getting more insight. We're learning more. We're seeing how these people really vibe now that the wedding's over. Now that that initial, reaction is over. We're seeing how people really get down. So I'm looking forward to continuing on. And listen, y'all already know what to do. Hit comment, like, subscribe, all the things. Check out my description, and we're gonna stay in touch because we got to get through this season, honey, because this season seems like it's gonna be a doozy. All right, so anyway, guys, thank you so much. If you made it this far, definitely leave an orange heart in the comments letting me know you made it this far. I'm your girl Jane B. Thank you so much for being here. I totally appreciate you, and until the next time, peace.